I'm sure you've heard the saying, words cost nothing. Choose your words to please each other. But have you ever wondered what's really hidden behind those chosen words? After experiencing and pondering the things shared in the book, Emotional Vulnerabilities, I realized that communication is not just the art of using language, but also the ability to touch the emotions of others. That's why some people are so captivating when they speak, making us want to listen, while others make us feel bored and want to avoid them. So what is emotional vulnerability that has such miraculous power? From what I understand, it's the weaknesses, desires, and fears hidden deep within each person's mind. It's like an emotional switch. When you hit it right, you can make others listen and act according to your will naturally. What about emotional hypnosis? It's the ability to use words, tone, and behavior to influence the emotions of others, making them pay attention to you and agree with what you say. I still remember a presentation I attended. The speaker was very knowledgeable, with extensive knowledge, but his way of speaking was too dry, just empty theory. After a while, people started yawning. Some even took the opportunity to scroll through their phones. But when another person came up to share, he didn't get into the topic right away, but told a funny story about himself. Suddenly, everyone woke up, burst into laughter, and started paying more attention to him. This is clear evidence that communication without emotion cannot attract others. Another time, in a team meeting, there was a member who kept insisting on his own opinion without listening to anyone else. The atmosphere in the team became tense and uncomfortable. At that time, I suddenly thought, if only he knew how to read emotions of everyone, maybe he wouldn't have made the atmosphere so tense. He was preoccupied with his ego and forgot to listen and understand. This is a lesson that shows how important emotional communication is in work and in peer relationships. The importance of emotional communication doesn't just stop at personal relationships, it also plays a key role in work, business, and even in the family. A good leader needs not only professional skills, but also the ability to hypnotize employees, making them trust and agree with him. A successful salesperson is not just someone with good products, but also someone who can touch the hearts of customers, making them feel cared for and understood. The same goes for the family. If husband and wife, parents and children don't know how to communicate emotionally with each other, then conflict and disagreement are inevitable. The book Emotional Vulnerabilities not only provides us with concepts and empty theories, but more importantly, it guides us on how to master our own emotions and those of others. The ultimate goal is not to manipulate or control anyone, but to create genuine and meaningful connections, helping us attract, persuade, and build influence in all areas of life. Master your own emotions to be calm and clear-headed in all situations. Understand the emotions of others to be able to communicate effectively and sincerely. Apply emotional hypnosis to attract, persuade, and build influence in work, life, and relationships. Are you curious to explore deeper into the art of hypnotizing with emotions? Do you want to experience for yourself the power of understanding the vulnerabilities of others? Let's continue this journey together, shall we? We've explored the basic concepts of emotional vulnerabilities and emotional hypnosis in the previous section. Now let's delve deeper into identifying and understanding emotions around us, as well as our own. Have you ever wondered why, for the same event, one person is happy while another is angry? Why are there people who can just say a few words and hit your heart, making you feel sympathetic and wanting to follow? That's the role of emotion in everyday communication. Emotions are like a filter that determines how we receive information and react to the world around us. If you don't understand the emotions that are controlling you and others, you are very likely to fall into the situation of he says chicken, she says duck, leading to misunderstandings and unnecessary conflicts. I remember witnessing an argument between two colleagues. One kept criticizing and blaming the other, while the other tried to explain but was met with cold water. After a while, both became frustrated and neither would give in. At that time, I realized that both were being controlled by negative emotions, preventing them from communicating rationally and constructively. If only they knew how to read each other's emotions, things might have been different. Instead of focusing only on their egos, they should listen and understand what the other person is feeling. So how do you identify the emotional vulnerabilities of each person? In my opinion, it's a process of observation and listening. Everyone has their own strengths, weaknesses, desires, and fears formed from past experiences. These things influence how we react to everything around us. For example, some people value reputation, others care about money, and others put love above all else. When you understand these vulnerabilities, you will find it easier to touch their emotions. There's a story I really like about a street vendor in a crowded stadium. He tried to push through the crowd to sell his wares, but no one would give way. Then he shouted, "Whoever makes way for me, I'll lend them a raincoat." Immediately the crowd buzzed and made way for him. This story shows that just by hitting the right emotional vulnerability, you can make others act according to your will. In this case, the vulnerability of those people is the fear of getting wet in the rain, a very practical, personal need. But how do you determine your own emotions and those of others? This is a skill that needs to be practiced regularly. For yourself, listen to what your heart and mind tell you. Don't try to suppress or deny your emotions. Ask yourself, how am I feeling? What makes me happy, sad, or angry? What do I want? As for others, observe their body language, tone, and even the things they don't say. Put yourself in their shoes to understand what they are going through. A friend of mine has a young daughter who often gets jealous of her younger brother. The little girl did everything to get her mother's attention, from throwing tantrums to harassing her. At first, my friend was very angry and scolded her daughter, but after understanding her daughter's emotional vulnerabilities, she changed her approach. Instead of just scolding, she spent time chatting, listening, and hugging her daughter more. As a result, the little girl gradually became more obedient and loving towards her brother. This shows that when you understand the emotions of others, you can resolve many problems peacefully. Emotions influence all behavior and communication. Be aware of the role of emotions in life. Everyone has their own emotional vulnerabilities. Observe and listen to understand the strengths and weaknesses of each person. Listen to your own emotions. Don't suppress them. Understand and accept them. Put yourself in the shoes of others to understand what they are going through. Practice emotion reading skills to communicate effectively and build good relationships. Understanding emotions is the key to effectively hypnotizing others. You can't hypnotize someone if you don't know what they're thinking, feeling, and wanting. So start by listening and understanding. Are you ready to explore more exciting things about emotional vulnerabilities? Let's continue in the next section. In the previous section, we explored the exciting world of emotions together. So how do we turn that knowledge into the art of emotional hypnosis to make others listen to us? I'll share with you the basic principles and techniques that I've learned, along with my own stories and real-life experiences. The core principle of emotional hypnosis is to make others listen to you, but not the kind of reluctant listening, but voluntary and attentive listening. Have you ever wondered why some people can just open their mouths and the whole crowd falls silent, listening intently? The secret lies in the fact that they know how to break down the barriers of distractions in the minds of the listeners. Each of us has our own distractions, our constant thoughts and worries. If you can't touch their emotions, then your words will be like pouring water on a lotus leaf. I remember one time I attended a presentation. The speaker, a dapper man, spoke well and eloquently, but strangely I couldn't focus. My mind kept wandering to other things. Then suddenly I noticed that the tail of his shirt was hanging out of his pants. Just a small detail, but it created a new experience that made me focus more on what was happening. This made me realize that sometimes surprises and excitement are more attractive than flowery words. To do that, we need to pay attention to our words, voice, and tone. Your voice can make others happy, sad, or even sleepy. A voice that's too high or too low won't create an emotional hypnosis effect. The important thing is not what you say, but how you say it. Practice adjusting your voice, going up and down rhythmically, emphasizing the right places to create a mesmerizing and captivating sound. I used to have a friend who had a speech impediment, but he was very good at emotionally hypnotizing others. He always made the people he talked to feel like they had known each other for a long time, so close that they kept inviting him to important events. His secret lies in his sincere and natural way of speaking, always knowing how to hit the things that others care about. This shows that even if you have a voice defect, you can still create attraction if you know how to communicate with your heart. In addition, the tactics of asking questions and storytelling are also very important. Questions are not just tools for gathering information, but also ways to guide the minds of the listeners. A good question will make others think, be curious, and from there, they will listen to you more attentively. Similarly, stories can touch the emotions of the listener powerfully. A captivating story will take the listener to another world, making them forget their daily worries and pay attention to you. Let me tell you a story. There was a street vendor who was often chased away by people. No one would buy his goods. One day, he changed his tactics. Instead of hawking his products, he told a touching story about his difficult life. His story moved many people, and they not only bought his goods, but also shared and supported him. This shows that emotions have tremendous power in changing people's behavior. To succeed in emotional hypnosis, you need to create attention. Break down others' distractions with surprises and excitement. Adjust your voice. Go up and down rhythmically. Emphasize the right places to create a captivating sound. Use questions to guide minds and arouse the curiosity of listeners. Tell captivating stories to touch the emotions of listeners powerfully. Communicate with your heart. Be sincere, natural, and always put yourself in the shoes of others. Always remember that people like to see more than hear. Emotional hypnosis is not something too far-fetched, but an art that anyone can learn. As long as you master the basic principles and techniques, along with sincerity and understanding, you will be able to make others listen and do what you want. Are you ready to explore more exciting things about emotional hypnosis? Let's learn together in the next section. After learning about the basic principles and techniques of emotional hypnosis, you're probably eager to know how to apply them in real life. Right? I'll share with you my valuable experiences on using emotional hypnosis in work and business, especially the skills of persuading customers, negotiating, and building credibility. Have you ever wondered why some salespeople can just say a few words and make customers open their wallets happily? The secret lies in the fact that they know how to break down the distractions of customers, touch their emotional vulnerabilities. They don't just sell products, but also emotions, experiences, and trust. I remember one time when I went to buy a computer, the salesperson didn't go on and on about the specs or features of the machine, but instead, he asked me about my needs. He asked me what I was buying the computer for, whether it was for work or entertainment, and if I had any special requirements. Only then did he advise me on the right machines. This made me feel cared for and understood, and eventually I decided to buy the computer from that store. You see, caring has that much power. The skill of persuading customers is not simply about trying to sell, but about building relationships with customers. Put yourself in their shoes, listen to what they say, understand what they want, and solve their problems. Don't just focus on your own benefits, focus on the benefits of the customer. When you do that, customers will trust you and become loyal customers. Being able to control yourself and the reactions of others is the key to having optimal behavior. Negotiation is also an important skill in work and business. To negotiate successfully, you need to understand your partner. Find out what their motivation is, where their emotional vulnerabilities lie. Use smart questions to elicit positive emotions and guide them to an agreement that is beneficial to both sides. As mentioned, questions asked at the right time, coupled with emotional appeal, will make the other person listen immediately. I once witnessed a negotiation that seemed like a dead end, but was resolved peacefully thanks to emotional hypnosis. Both sides held their ground, neither would give in. Then suddenly, one of them told a funny story, making both sides laugh. Laughter broke the tense atmosphere, and both sides began to look at the problem more openly. In the end, they reached an agreement that both sides were happy with. You see, sometimes humour is a powerful weapon in negotiation. Building credibility is a long process that requires sincerity, honesty, and responsibility. Always keep your promises, complete your work on time, and treat everyone fairly. When you have credibility, others will trust you and want to work with you. Success doesn't depend on luck or chance, but on the ability to apply and leverage the art of emotional hypnosis. One of the most impressive examples of building credibility I've ever seen is the story of a milkman. He always delivered milk on time and was very careful. But there was one customer, a widow, who often forgot to pay him. Instead of getting angry, he wrote a note on a piece of cardboard, but after seeing the meticulousness and aesthetic taste of her house, he decided to tear up the cardboard. This action not only showed respect, but also touched the kindness within her, making her a loyal customer. You see, sometimes kindness is the best way to build credibility. To succeed in applying emotional hypnosis to work and business, you need to listen, pay attention to the needs and desires of customers, understand, put yourself in the shoes of customers to understand what they care about, build relationships based on trust and respect, use smart questions, elicit positive emotions, and guide partners to a beneficial agreement. Tell captivating stories, convey messages effectively, and touch the emotions of listeners. Always maintain credibility through sincerity, honesty, and responsibility. Break down distractions, create new and exciting experiences. Emotional hypnosis is an incredibly useful tool in work and business. It not only helps you persuade customers, negotiate successfully, but also helps you build credibility and build lasting relationships. Are you ready to explore other exciting applications of emotional hypnosis in life? We'll learn together in the next section. After exploring the power of emotional hypnosis in work and business, have you ever wondered if it can make a difference in personal relationships, love, and family? I'll share with you some stories that I've experienced so you can see how miraculous its impact can be. Have you ever felt powerless in arguments with your lover or family? Sometimes we keep picking at the mistakes of others, forgetting that the most important thing is to maintain harmony. I used to be like that until I realized that words have the power to hypnotize emotions, and if we know how to use them cleverly, we can miraculously change the attitude of the person we're talking to. I remember one time my lover and I had a huge fight over a trivial matter. We were both very angry and neither would give in. In my anger, I said some very harsh words, making my lover feel hurt. At that moment, I only wanted to win the argument without thinking about the other person's feelings. You see, our ego can be scary sometimes. Later, when I learned about emotional hypnosis, I realized that I was completely wrong. Resolving conflict is not about trying to prove who is right or wrong, but about understanding and empathizing with the other person. Instead of adding fuel to the fire, listen to what they say, understand how they feel, and find ways to cool down the anger of both sides. According to many sources, effective communication is the key to a lasting relationship, and it's important to understand the other person's feelings. One important thing is to listen to discover the anxieties, to make people listen to us. We ourselves must be good listeners. I applied this principle in subsequent arguments with my lover. Instead of reacting angrily, I tried to control my emotions, listen to what my lover said, and put myself in her shoes to understand what she was going through. Surprisingly, when I softened my tone and spoke calmly, my lover gradually calmed down and we were able to resolve the problem peacefully. You see, sometimes patience and listening are the best ways to win an argument. On another occasion, I witnessed a couple arguing fiercely. The husband kept criticizing his wife for her bad habits. The wife tried to justify herself and retaliated with harsh words. Both were head to head in the argument, not caring about the other person's feelings. At that moment, I thought, if they only knew how to hypnotize each other's emotions, things might have been different. Maintaining harmony in a relationship is not about avoiding conflicts, but about facing and resolving them positively. Use hypnotic words to elicit positive emotions, cool down anger, and heal cracks. According to many sources, words have unparalleled power, and words can create an emotional explosion. I once heard a story about a wife who used emotional hypnosis to change her husband. Instead of nagging and scolding, she used praise and encouragement to motivate her husband to do good things. She told her husband that she was very proud of what he had done and that she believed he would do even better. As a result, the husband gradually changed and became a better man. You see, sometimes praise has that much power. Building a lasting relationship is not about finding a perfect person, but about accepting the other person's flaws and working together to improve. Cherish the happy moments you share and overcome challenges together. Always remember that love is not a fleeting emotion, but a process of effort and dedication that never stops. According to many sources, love is one of the most powerful emotional vulnerabilities. One of the most effective ways to build a lasting relationship is to create new experiences together. Explore exciting things together, share memorable moments. Beautiful memories will help the two of you bond more, and challenges will help you understand each other better. According to many sources, new experiences are an emotional hypnosis factor that people always crave. To succeed in applying emotional hypnosis to personal relationships, love and family, you need to control emotions, learn to control your anger and negative emotions. Listen, pay attention to what the other person says and understand how they feel. Use hypnotic words, use clever words to elicit positive emotions and cool down anger. Build empathy, put yourself in the other person's shoes to understand what they are going through. Cherish moments. Cherish happy moments and overcome challenges together. Create new experiences. Explore exciting things to strengthen your bond. Always be patient and forgiving. In any relationship, it's important to learn to be patient and forgiving of each other's mistakes. Emotional hypnosis is not just a communication skill, but an art of living. It helps you resolve conflicts, maintain harmony, and build lasting relationships. Are you ready to apply these lessons to your life? We'll continue to explore other exciting things in the next section. After we have explored the amazing applications of emotional hypnosis in personal and family relationships, today I want to share with you an equally important aspect: application in leadership and teamwork. Have you ever wondered if a leader could use emotional hypnosis to awaken the potential of their team and resolve internal conflicts? Let's explore together. I used to work in a team where the team leader always imposed his opinion on everyone. He didn't listen to the contributions of other members and always thought he was the most right. As a result, the team worked very inefficiently. Everyone's morale went down and everyone felt discouraged. You see, a leader who lacks the ability to emotionally hypnotize can cause such serious consequences. According to many studies, a leader needs to be able to use language and actions that are emotional to move their members. When I had the opportunity to become team leader, I was determined not to follow in the footsteps of the previous team leader. I started learning about emotional hypnosis and how to apply it to leadership. I realized that a good leader is not someone who commands others, but someone who inspires and awakens their potential. One of the first lessons I learned was building leadership style. According to many sources, a person's outward demeanor actually reflects their character and nature. I started paying more attention to how I dressed, walked, talked, and behaved. I tried to show confidence, assertiveness, but also warmth and closeness. It is very important to control yourself and other people's reactions to you in order to emit the optimal words or behavior. I remember one time I had to chair an important meeting. Before the meeting started, I took the time to talk to each member of the team, ask about their work situation, and listen to their contributions. I didn't seem hurried or annoyed, but always open and respectful of everyone's opinions. As a result, the meeting went very smoothly. Everyone felt comfortable and willing to share their ideas. You see how a little care and listening can make such a big difference. Another important factor in leadership is encouraging team spirit. I always try to recognize and praise the contributions of team members. I not only praise great achievements, but also small efforts and daily progress. I also always try to create opportunities for team members to showcase their talents and develop themselves. According to many sources, recognition is not only a powerful motivator, but also the trigger for success. I have witnessed a case where a team member felt very insecure about their abilities. He always shrunk back and hesitated when giving his opinion. To help him become more confident, I gave him an important task and constantly encouraged and motivated him. Surprisingly, he completed the task brilliantly, and from then on he became much more confident and positive. You see how a little trust and encouragement can help a person change. In the process of teamwork, internal conflict is inevitable. However, a good leader is not someone who avoids conflict, but someone who knows how to resolve it effectively. When conflict arises, I always try to create an open space where everyone can share their thoughts and feelings. I always listen objectively and fairly and find ways to reconcile differences. According to many sources, face-to-face communication is the lifeline of mass communication, and emotional hypnosis will help you reconcile conflicts. Once, two team members had a huge conflict over a trivial matter. Both were very hot-tempered and neither would give in. To resolve this situation, I invited both of them to a private meeting and tried to listen to what they had to say patiently. After listening, I gave some objective analysis and pointed out the common points of both. Surprisingly, after that meeting, both understood each other better and the conflict was resolved amicably. You see how a little listening and analysis can help resolve difficult conflicts. To successfully apply emotional hypnosis in leadership and teamwork, you need to build leadership style, show confidence, assertiveness, warmth and closeness. Encourage team spirit, recognize and praise the contributions of team members. Handle internal conflict. Create an open space where everyone can share their opinions and find ways to reconcile differences. Inspire team members with a shared vision and goals. Listen objectively and fairly to the opinions of members. Communicate effectively. Use language and actions that are emotional to move members. Create a positive work environment. Create a work environment that is comfortable, respectful, and trusting of each other. In short, emotional hypnosis is a powerful tool to help you become a good leader who can awaken the potential of your team and resolve internal conflicts. Are you ready to become a leader who hypnotizes everyone with your own abilities? We'll have more exciting things to explore in the next part. We have explored the applications of emotional hypnosis in work and relationships, and I want to share with you an even more important aspect: self-development through controlling and cultivating emotions. Have you ever felt stuck in negative emotions like fear or anxiety and wanted to find a way to overcome them? Let's explore this journey together. I used to be very easily controlled by emotions. Whenever something didn't go my way, I would often get angry and react impulsively. This not only affected my relationships, but also made me feel very tired and negative. I realized that if I didn't learn how to control my emotions, I wouldn't be able to develop myself and achieve my goals. Documents also indicate that managing negative emotions and transforming them into positive motivation is an important part of self-development. One of the first lessons I learned was managing negative emotions. According to many sources, fears, anxieties, and anger are very personal emotions that have become part of our personality. I started by identifying my negative emotions, determining what triggered them. I also learned how to separate myself from those emotions, observing them like an outsider. Instead of letting emotions control me, I tried to understand their root causes and from there find ways to resolve them. Sources also emphasize that you can discover your greatest emotional weaknesses and answer any why questions related to your daily behaviors. I remember one time I had to face a very difficult situation. An important project I was working on was in danger of falling apart. I felt very scared and anxious, afraid that I would fail and disappoint everyone. Instead of letting emotions control me, I tried to breathe deeply and tell myself that I could overcome it. I focused on finding solutions instead of just focusing on the difficulties. As a result, I found a surprising solution and the project was more successful than expected. You see how a little calm and focus can make such a big difference. Another important skill in self-development is transforming fear and anxiety into positive motivation. According to many sources, these negative emotions can be transformed into motivation to act. I started to see fear and anxiety as challenges that I needed to overcome rather than obstacles on the road to success. I also found ways to turn negative emotions into motivations to drive me to act. I used to be very afraid to speak in front of crowds. Whenever I had to give a presentation, I would often feel trembling and sweating. Instead of avoiding that fear, I decided to face it. I started by practicing speaking in front of the mirror, then giving presentations to a few friends, and finally speaking in front of crowds. Surprisingly, each time I felt more confident and stronger. You see how a little courage and determination can help us overcome great fears. In addition to managing negative emotions, I also focus on building a unique personal style. I realized that everyone has a unique beauty, a unique style, and shouldn't try to be someone else. I started exploring my strengths, developing my talents, and expressing myself in the most authentic and confident way possible. Sources also emphasize that you will have a unique personal style if you know how to use new experiences. I remember a time when I always felt insecure about my appearance. I tried to dress like others, tried to be like others. However, this not only didn't help me feel better, but also made me feel like I was losing myself. Later, I decided to accept myself, love what I have, and express my own style. Surprisingly, when I became confident in myself, people around me also felt that I became more attractive and special. You see how confidence and our authenticity can help us shine. To develop yourself through controlling and cultivating emotions, you need to manage negative emotions. Identify, separate yourself from emotions, understand their causes, and resolve them. Transform fear and anxiety into positive motivation. See them as challenges that need to be overcome. Build a unique personal style. Explore and develop your strengths. Express yourself authentically and confidently. Practice daily. Practice emotional communication skills through exercises and methods. Persistence and patience. This process requires time and effort. Confidence. Always believe in your abilities. Positive. Maintain an optimistic attitude and believe in good things. Self-development through controlling and cultivating emotions is a long journey, requiring persistence and determination. However, the results you get will be completely worth it. Are you ready to master your emotions and become a better version of yourself? We will explore more exciting things together in the next part. So we have reached the final stage of our journey, exploring emotional hypnosis. I want to look back at everything we've learned and offer some practical advice that you can apply to your life right away. Are you excited? First, let's summarize the core principles and meaning of emotional hypnosis. As you know, emotional hypnosis is not a foreign or mystical concept, but an art of communication based on understanding and influencing the emotions of others. It starts with listening, observing, and identifying the emotional vulnerabilities of the other person, their weaknesses, desires, or deep-seated fears. From there, you can use words, tone, and even body language to connect and create positive responses. I remember a story about a friend, a salesperson who always had trouble closing deals. He used to focus only on introducing the product and forgot to listen to the customer. After learning and practicing the principles of emotional hypnosis, he completely changed. He started asking questions to understand the customer's needs and skillfully used language to touch their vulnerabilities. As a result, his sales skyrocketed. You see, when you understand the emotions of others, you will find it easier to reach their hearts. Emotional hypnosis is not just a tool to achieve personal goals, but also a means to build good and meaningful relationships. It helps you communicate more effectively, persuade others sincerely, and create positive influences on everyone around you. Documents have also shown that effective communication is the key to a lasting marriage and can help you improve your demeanor, personality, and authority in communication. An important point I want to emphasize is that emotional hypnosis applies not only to others but also to yourself. Understanding your own emotions, controlling negative emotions, and transforming them into positive motivation is an important step in your self-development journey. I used to be easily controlled by negative emotions, but through practice and applying the principles of emotional hypnosis, I have learned to be calmer, more confident, and more positive. However, the most important thing is that you don't just read but apply these lessons to your life. Knowledge is only truly valuable when it is transformed into action. Start with the smallest things, such as listen to others sincerely and focus. Observe and identify their emotional cues. Use words and tones skillfully. Ask questions to understand their needs and desires. Create new and exciting experiences for others. Self-awareness and control your own emotions. I remember after reading about the principles of asking hypnotic questions, I tried applying them in a company meeting. Instead of just giving my own opinion, I started by asking questions to listen to everyone's opinions. Surprisingly, when people felt respected and listened to, they became more open and the meeting became much more productive. You see, just a small change in your communication style can make a big difference. Finally, I want to call you to action. Don't just stop at reading and understanding. Get started with practice and experience. Treat mastering emotions and communication as a continuous journey and always be willing to learn and improve yourself. Believe that you are fully capable of becoming a master communicator by mastering your emotions and conquering every mind. Be a positive listener. Learn to understand the emotions of others. Control your own emotions. Take action. Are you ready to start this journey? I believe that with persistence and determination, you will achieve unexpected success. And remember, I'm always here to accompany you on this path. We will meet again in other exciting exploration journeys.